if you're over 50. Let me start with something that may surprise you. Oranges and tangerines, those bright, refreshing, vitamin-packed fruits we grew up loving, may not always be the harmless health boosters we think they are. In fact, for certain groups of people, especially those of us past midlife, these citrus favorites can silently trigger problems we don't immediately connect to fruit at all. I'm saying this as someone in my late 50s. As a doctor who has spent decades watching how the smallest daily habits can dramatically shape long-term health. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's this: the foods that help one person can harm another. Depending on what's happening inside the body, most people believe oranges are universally good, loaded with vitamin C.
And calories.
Good for immunity. That's true, but it's not the whole story. Nature is complex. Our bodies are complex. And once we cross age 50, metabolism slows, digestion changes, medication use increases, and our organs become more sensitive to certain compounds that never bothered us before. That's why today, I want to walk you through 5 groups of people who should seriously reconsider eating oranges and tangerines on a daily basis. Not out of fear, not at all, but out of wisdom, awareness, and a desire to protect your body as it changes with age. And if, as you're listening, you realize you belong to one of these groups, don't panic. There are gentle, natural adjustments you can make. That's the beauty of lifestyle medicine. One small shift can create a huge difference. My goal isn't to take foods away from you, it's to help you understand your body better than ever. Let's dive in. The first group of people over 50 who should be cautious with oranges and tangerines are those who experience chronic acid reflux, GERD, or frequent heartburn. Citrus fruits are naturally high in citric acid, which can lower the pH of the stomach even further. In younger people, the digestive system tends to bounce back quickly. But when we're older, the valve between the esophagus and stomach becomes weaker. That acidic splashback, that burning feeling rising in the chest, can be triggered much more easily. I've had patients come to me thinking they needed stronger acid-reducing medication. But when I asked about their diet, the problem was simple. They were starting each morning with a glass of orange juice. It's a gentle morning ritual, but for someone with reflux, it's like pouring gasoline on a small flame. And here's the tricky part. Many people don't connect their citrus intake with their symptoms because the burning doesn't always happen immediately. Sometimes it shows up hours later, even at night, when you're lying down. So if you're over 50 and dealing with reflux, it might be worth stepping back. Try removing oranges and tangerines for a week and see if the chest discomfort calms down. Sometimes the answer isn't medication, it's simply understanding what your stomach can't tolerate anymore. The second group includes people who are managing diabetes or pre-diabetes. Now, let me be clear. Oranges aren't bad for diabetics. Whole fruit contains fiber, and fiber slows glucose absorption. But citrus fruits, especially tangerines, have a higher glycemic impact than many people realize. They contain natural sugars that can spike blood glucose if portion sizes aren't controlled. I've seen older patients who say, "Doctor, I only eat natural sugar, but natural sugar is still sugar." And because taste buds become less sensitive with age, we often reach for sweet fruits more often, without noticing how it affects our glucose curve. Even worse, many diabetics eat oranges alone as a snack. But fruit, especially fruit high in sugar, is best eaten with protein or healthy fat to avoid rapid spikes. If your A1C is creeping upward or morning glucose runs high, look carefully at your fruit routine. It might not be the dessert you're avoiding, it might be the tangerine you're grabbing every afternoon. Again, I'm not saying never. I'm saying be intentional. Your pancreas will thank you. The third group is people taking certain medications, especially statins, blood pressure medications, and drugs metabolized by the CYP3A4 enzyme system. Yes, the same system affected by grapefruit. Although oranges and tangerines don't affect it as strongly as grapefruit does, certain varieties, especially Seville oranges, can still interfere with drug metabolism. That means the medication can become too strong or too weak inside your body. And for people over 50, who often take daily medication, this interaction matters. I once had a patient whose blood pressure medication unexpectedly caused dizziness and fatigue. We tested everything. Eventually, through a simple conversation, I learned he drank marmalade tea every morning made with bitter oranges. The moment he stopped, the symptoms disappeared. Medication interactions are subtle. They don't shout. They whisper. And often the whisper gets lost in daily routine. If you're on medication and notice unusual side effects, don't ignore fruit as a potential contributor. The fourth group of people is over 50 who should be careful with oranges and tangerines, includes those with kidney problems, whether mild chronic kidney disease, a history of kidney stones, or even unexplained flank pain. Citrus fruits contain high levels of potassium, and while potassium is good for most people, anyone with impaired kidney function can struggle to filter excess potassium from the bloodstream. High potassium can affect heart rhythm, something we absolutely do not want to play with. Additionally, certain citrus fruits contribute to the formation of kidney stones in people who are predisposed. Again, it depends on the individual chemistry of your body. Some people benefit from citrus, others don't. That's why understanding your own health conditions is more important than copying general nutrition advice. I always tell my older patients, your kidneys whisper long before they shout. If you have kidney concerns, talk to your doctor before making citrus a daily habit. The fifth and final group includes people with sensitive teeth, gum issues, or enamel erosion. After 50, our enamel is naturally thinner. Years of chewing, grinding, acidic foods, and even dry mouth from medication all wear it down. Citrus fruits, with their high acidity, weaken enamel within minutes. That can lead to sensitivity, pain when drinking hot or cold beverages, and even increased risk of cavities. Some of my patients brush right after eating citrus, thinking they're being responsible, but brushing directly on acid softened. Enamel causes even more damage. If you love citrus but struggle with dental sensitivity, consider eating it after a meal instead of on an empty stomach, or rinse your mouth with plain water afterward. Small changes, big difference. Now at this point you might be thinking, so should everyone over 50 stop eating oranges? Absolutely not. These fruits can be amazing when eaten mindfully. They contain vitamin C, antioxidants, hydration, and fiber. They can support immune function, protect cells from damage, and add natural brightness to your diet. But the key, as with everything in health, is understanding your body. The solution isn't elimination, it's personalization. Let me share something from my own life. I love oranges. But as I got older, I noticed my reflux flaring up. For years, I thought it was stress, until one morning, I skipped my orange and realized the burning was gone. I didn't give up oranges forever, I just changed the timing. I eat them with protein and not first thing in the morning. That one adjustment stopped years of discomfort. That's why I tell people over 50, listen to your symptoms. They're not inconveniences. They're messages. If you belong to any of these groups, reflux, diabetes, medication use, kidney issues, or dental sensitivity, don't be afraid to experiment. Try reducing citrus for a week. Try replacing it with berries, apples, or lacid fruits. See how your body responds. The goal is not restriction. The goal is harmony. And if you're unsure whether citrus is affecting your health, try this simple test I often recommend. Keep a 3-day food and symptom journal. Write down what you eat and how you feel afterward. You'd be amazed how quickly patterns emerge when you give your attention to them. Your body is always trying to tell you what it needs. As someone who has practiced medicine for decades, I'm a firm believer that the most powerful health changes come from simple daily habits. And natural food is one of the most powerful medicines we have. When we choose wisely, everything gets better. Energy, sleep, digestion, inflammation, blood sugar, mood, mobility. And when we choose foods that don't match our personal biology, even the healthy ones can cause issues. So, if oranges and tangerines have been a regular part of your routine, and you belong to one of these groups, consider taking a step back, not out of fear, but out of respect for the body you've spent a lifetime building. And if you're ready to explore healthier alternatives that support your unique needs, I encourage you to stay curious, experiment with new fruits, and choose foods that make your body feel calm. energized, and balanced. And before we wrap up, let me gently encourage you, if this kind of information is helping you, take a moment to reflect on one small change you can make today. Health isn't about overhauling your life overnight. It's about one thoughtful adjustment at a time. Maybe it's swapping citrus for berries a few days a week. Maybe it's drinking more water. Maybe it's paying attention to how your body reacts after meals. As a doctor in my 50s, I've seen thousands of patients transform their health through small daily shifts. And you can too. If you'd like more natural, practical advice for people over 50, feel free to stay connected. Your body is wiser than you think.